obviously, since we last spoke, maybe those that we saw at Penn State, learned a lot with the injury, and I know it's out there obviously now that OG is going to miss the rest of the season with the surgery. And needless to say, it's been a long couple of days for everybody. Very hard for him, hard for all of us. But that's the beauty of this team and this program, is the support that they have for one another, and very proud of them with that. And so not only are they getting ready for a game, but they're being there for their teammate that is going to go through something that he's never been through before. So we feel really good about everything that we've learned to this point as he gets ready to prepare for surgery. Like I said earlier today, that if everything goes as expected, he'll have 100% recovery from it. And but in the meantime, getting his spirit to continue to understand that this is just part of life, and it's an unfortunate part. But he's got a very strong faith. He's got a great spirit. He's quiet at times, but very, very smart, very introspective, and again, that faith is what that any of us would call out at this point in time when you're dealing with this type of situation. So we want to help him every possible way that we can, and I really have no more update on what our next step will be with him other than what we put out today. So as far as this game, I don't know if we'll have Juwan Morgan. If I'm saying something up here, I would say it would be doubtful, though it's possible, when tomorrow gets here, but I would say it would be doubtful. And we just got to continue to figure out ways. And I will say this, that we need 17,000 very strong 6 men tomorrow. And because these guys are really working hard, they're playing at a strong level, they're improving. They showed great resiliency the other night through a lot of things, and at the same time, all that pales in comparison to the fact that now one of their closest teammates, and certainly not only one of our best players, one of the best players in the country, is not going to be out there with them. So we need that support. I'm really counting on it, for these guys, that they've got that support out there tomorrow, and to help them through it. All right, not in just because it's uncharted. We've been in these situations before, but it's uncharted for this team. Certainly the Colin Hartman injury was really, really tough, but it was in the preseason. And a lot of the new guys and the guys back, we never got to see, what Colin could bring to the team this year. Well, they did get to see what OG is capable of. Sunday he had 7 steals, 18 deflections. And they see it in practice, they see it throughout the games. So there's no way to equate what kind of loss it is, but the bottom line is that everybody has got to continue to take steps forward. And the biggest ones for us right now are going to be on the defensive side, with the deflections, the rebounds, the presence defensively. We're not going to make up, and even obviously with Juwan not in there right now, we're not going to make up for the size and the wingspan and the speed and the strength and all those type of things. But we do have to make up for it with tenacity. And our focus is strong, but tomorrow's not here yet. So we really need that crowd to be behind these guys. Completely. We're playing one of the better teams, obviously, in the league, and always one of the better teams in the country. And this year is no different. They're hitting their stride. Miles Bridges looks really good right now. Looks really confident, very effective. Their freshmen have really grown up. I mean, getting a chance to see those guys out on the court in Honolulu like we did in November, and now to see how many of them they're getting so much better because they've been able to play so many minutes together. You can see that in them, and they're deep, and they really don't have a great drop-off when they go to the bench. They're playing with great speed. They never get bored with what they're trying to execute. They're one of the more physical teams in the country with their ability to screen, post, rebound the ball, and it is a Michigan State team that we have a ton of respect for, and we've got to figure out our way tomorrow. That's the most important thing. We just got to figure out our way, a lot like we did on Wednesday night. But now not having OG is definitive, and like I said, the Juwan thing is not clear yet. So here we are. Saturday will be here before we know it. And everybody, like I said the other night, the youngest team, or third youngest team in the league, got a little bit older that night. They've got a little bit older every day now, a little bit quicker than what we would have hoped. So, go ahead.
You mentioned the other night the tears in the locker room. You mentioned the need to rally around OG. How much do you kind of monitor morale at this kind of?
Oh, I think morale's really high. I mean, there's different things going on. They know they've got to be focused. But it's like anything else. Emotion has got there's a limit to it, right? And you can't win games on emotion. You can't play the game just on emotion. There's a whole different level of feeling for him. And the locker room after the game was extremely difficult, and it's been difficult the last couple of days, and very difficult, and not for, oh, you know, what are we going to do? It's not like that. I mean, it's really not. We have our coaches meetings, you know, and we do all that stuff, but it's not like that with the players. I mean, they know that one of their guys that they're very, very close to, he is absolutely one of the guys, and now he's not going to get a chance to play like that. So you monitor it, but the bottom line is we've got to do everything we can do to keep our team focused, and at the same time, I don't have any worry about how empathetic they are for him or how empathetic all of us are. And there's been such a level of support. I just walked upstairs after our meeting and see all these texts. I mean, there's so much support, you know, for him, and that says a lot about him. You know, it says a lot about them, you know, with the way that they operate as a program. It says a ton about him, and it says a ton about the people that care about what he does. But we've got to do a great job of staying task at hand, and at the same time do everything we can do as we go through this period to help him.
Do roles change, maybe specifically with McRoberts?
I'm not going to get into specifics on anything because it's just got to get worked through. The other night was one of those type of games too. So I don't have great answers for you on that. The bottom line is you're trying to develop a team every day that can be better, and that they get better every day. I think we've been getting better the last couple of weeks. And I think we've gotten better. You know, we didn't practice yesterday. We did walkthroughs and things of that nature. But I think we're getting better. That's the bottom line. Let's see where it takes us. But I can't get into and be able to say, well, this guy's going to definitely do this guy's going to do that. Everybody that plays needs to do the very best job they can do at making the game simpler for the other guy. And then really, we've got to continue to pick up our defense and our rebounding. And OG is a threat to score at the rim. He's a threat to score on the break. He's obviously a threat to score, you know, from about anywhere when he puts that ball down on the ground and puts that shoulder down. And his three-point shooting wasn't great, but it's certainly something that we look to. But we've got to make sure that we do everything we can do defensively, because there's no question you lose a guy like that who's arguably one of the most versatile defenders in the country, if not the most versatile. I mean, I haven't seen everybody, so I'm never going to put him in a definitive place, but I'd be shocked if he's not one of the most versatile. We'll miss that.
It's kind of a weird question, and maybe the answer.
This is the first? This is the first for you?
No, definitely not. Do you draw a line between like James and OG and Colin and worry about it becoming something that just kind of they're doing to their bodies that's making them susceptible to this? Do you look at that, or is it just kind of one of those like it happens sometimes and this is just kind of a weird rash?
Well, I'm no doctor, obviously, but I mean they're all different situations, and so no, I mean I don't think there's anything you look at. I mean I don't even know how you would quantify that. So I'm certainly not educated enough to even remotely give an answer to that, other than that, like I said, they all look like different situations to me, just unfortunate situations.
I didn't see Priller at Penn State. What's his status?
Tim Priller's situation is this. He is in the midst of a double major. And in the midst of that double major, we've run into a eligibility issue on progress towards degree, which we're working through. And so right now he cannot play, and he cannot travel. You know, he can be on the bench, but we're working through it. It's been going on for a little bit here. And it's unique. I mean, he's got so many credits. But at the same time, it's a progress towards degree situation. So because we're in the midst of it, there's really not been much more to add to it, but he's not available to us right now.
Can he practice through that?
Yes, he can practice.
He can't dress or travel?
He can dress at home. Yeah, he can dress at home, he can't travel. No. But I mean, I'm not sure, you know, we're in the process of that. You know, we're in the, actually in the appeal process of that. So we've got to see where it leads us.
When you go back to the other injuries that you've had in the past here, last year you were able to overcome those injuries and still win the Big Ten. What makes you optimistic that you're still going to be able to, get through and maybe?
Well, you just got to stay in the moment. But I know that as a leader of this program, I'm very comfortable in these situations. I don't like them, but I've become accustomed to them, and it's part of it. And I think the most important thing is that they see stability and focus and resolve every day, not just through me and the coaching staff, but through each other. And our job is to make sure that that is what we're putting out because we believe it. Not because we want to do it, but because we believe it. And that's the only way that you can coach it. And personally, we've gone through an awful lot in 9 years here. And we've learned an awful lot. And you learn to deal with whatever the situation is, whatever the circumstance is, and you learn to do everything you can do to control what you can control. I didn't always understand that earlier in coaching. This place has taught me a lot about that. That you control what you can control. And what we can control right now is how much better we can get and the focus that we have with the guys that we have, and do everything we can do to help them get better. And it's not business as usual when you go through these situations. Things have to give and take, and I'm not, I don't have all the answers yet on the strategies and what it means for roles, but I know that they will play out as we go through it.
Tom, the ability, all the adversity you had in that last game, obviously with the injuries and then Penn State's making a big comeback, to execute in those last 5 seconds, because the margin for error was obviously small.
Sure.
To do that, how much does that potential for growth, or really, I don't want to say the breakthrough moment, but just the key for them to do that despite all that it happened?
Well, I don't think you ever find what the breakthrough moments were until you look back at the end of the year. And you can think they might be, but they always manifest themselves based on where they go from there, right? So the experience of that, the thing that win or lose that night, the thing to overcome the emotion that they had, that we all had, and to deal with that, and then to deal with the lead, lose the lead. They never lost their poise. They never lost their poise. They never flinched, and that was a great sign, right? That was a great sign of a team getting better. Now, what's that mean tomorrow? I have no idea, right? But that night that we took those steps, and then the end of the game, they executed it perfectly. So we didn't execute our press offense as well as we needed to. We didn't cut to get the ball. We missed a couple of free throws. We missed a couple of shots. We took the first pass, which was really a decoy to get to the next pass, in the press offense. We rushed a little bit. So there, yes, we lost our poise a little bit, but we never panicked even when that happened. So, you hope that that's something that they can carry with them and we move forward on.
Not asking specifically about his role, but I think Zach, it's ticked up a little bit in terms of minutes per game in conference play. Just how have you seen him grow this year? I know you talked about it being a confidence thing for him early on.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the other night with the hustle that he plays with. And when he plays like that and he's attacking and confident, and I thought the shot that he took in the corner was down. I mean, the 2 shots that he took last week against Rutgers, he comes right in off the bench at the end of the half, knocks that down. I'm not sure he'd have taken that shot 2-3 weeks ago. So that's where growth is, right there. But the bottom line is he's tenacious, and he can do a lot of different things for us, and he needs to believe that, and that's the most important thing. We see him as a very good player. I mean, going all the way back to the Hope College game. Putting him in the starting lineup. It wasn't a reward, it wasn't a message, it was a message to him in the sense of, I think you can play, now let's go play. And when you do like that, it takes a little time, but he's really fitting in well. And he's got to become even more of a leader with his voice. But his actions are speaking very loudly for us, obviously, on the court, and I think that's what you want more than anything anyways. But obviously, he, along with so many others, have got to be able to do more. And the balancing act as a coach is to not make them feel pressure to do more, but give them as many opportunities to feel confident that they can do more. But more doesn't mean necessarily for guys, well, I got to take more shots, or I've got to get more looks, or I've got to know. It's making the game simpler and becoming a better defender, impacting the game constantly on the defensive end. So whether it's Zach, whether it's anybody else, that's what we've got to do as a team.
So, where's Juwan at in the rehab process? And if he can't go tomorrow, do you think he'll be ready by the next week?
I told you earlier we're not sure where he's at. I mean, he's progressing. There's no doubt about that. He's getting better, as you imagine that he would. But we're in the midst of that, and it becomes a day-to-day type of situation. I can't answer tomorrow, so there's no possible way that I can answer for you next week.
Duran seems like a guy that could pick up minutes, but he's been so foul prone.
Yeah.
What does he have to do to change?
We've got to attack that. I mean, and then he's aggressive. Duran, everybody goes through this. He has not figured out just how good of an athlete he can be, right? And we try to get that across. Everybody has to be reminded and at points demanded and driven into them, like, you can be this. And even when they don't know that they can be that, you know, like he's never had to be, he's always been big and been able to get away with a lot of stuff. He's very athletic. He just doesn't play athletic all the time yet. And I say that because some of that's the quick twitch with his hands. You know, he had a time the other night where get the hands behind his head, right? For verticality, when he puts the hands above his head or in front of him, it's a foul. You know, so it's that carryover of athleticism, quick twitch movements, first steps, two steps, sprinting, you know, all those type of things to get him. Is he going to be the athlete that he is going to be next year? No. I mean, no, he's got a lot of growth to make there. He hasn't had an offseason here yet. He literally didn't have a summer. So we've had to do all this stuff during the time. But can he be more athletic than what he's playing? Can he be more, there's a lot going on for him, right? I mean, he's learning a lot over time. What we want him to do is just make sure that he understands that first step, those arms out, you know, on both offense and defense. And I don't want to put pressure on him, like, we have to have you on the floor, right? Like, it's better when you're on the floor for us. Not necessarily for 40 minutes, obviously, but through the game. So really trying to help him get to that point. But I would say this, he made a ton of progress, all right, for the 2 months leading up into January. And I have no doubt that he's going to continue to make that kind of progress moving forward. I mean, he shows it. But it is something we have to continue to work through. There's no question about that. Go ahead. Anyway.
Just, Juwan, is it like a foot or is it an ankle or like what's the?
That's his foot. Okay.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.